Why does no one want to play healer or support, resulting in quick match games that have 5 assassins on either team? Is it because they are weak, or are they simply not enjoyable for the majority of the player base? Well, let's dive into these roles and answer those questions. To better understand how this happened, it's worth explaining the history of the role. Well, at launch of the game, healer didn't exist. Everything was wrapped up into a single role called support. However, as the hero pool began to diversify, introducing lots of new and unique characters, many started to break the mold of the originally defined roles. Zarya, for example, despite having a support-heavy kit, was placed in tank to mirror her Overwatch role, which made absolutely no sense given that they didn't have any CC on demand, aside from her ultimate. While heroes like the Lost Vikings, whose original role as a specialist was designed to split push, no longer made sense as many of these heroes also performed well in a team fight. The result of all of this was a complete revamp of the role system, creating healer, which is self-explanatory, and support, which, if I'm honest, felt like a bit of a placeholder for heroes that didn't really fit anywhere, but had an ability or two that benefited allies. The support role in particular fell out of favour, because it wasn't really deemed as a necessary part of a traditional team comp. Healer was a much better fit in 99% of comps. But that being said, we are seeing better use of heroes like Medivh today, provided you have a healer and sink a significant chunk of time into these heroes as they're difficult to pick up. So if we are saying the new healer role is still fit for purpose, then why aren't people playing it? Well, it's a few factors. One is whether or not you are a solo queue or playing as part of a team, since one of the inherent issues with HOTS is that it is incredibly difficult to carry a team, let alone if you are playing a healer that can't make any crazy plays to get your team back on track. Queuing as a healer in solo queue has therefore felt like a bit of a coin flip, and the majority of people would prefer to take matters into their own hands. If you are queuing as part of a team, both healer and support roles can be super impactful provided you have good lines of communication, but a tank, bruiser or assassin will always have more potential to impact the game. The other element to consider here is that the vast majority of the player base just simply enjoy being an assassin, bruiser or tank more. Some of the most fun I've had on this game is completely outplaying and destroying the enemy team, either by utilising strong CC as a tank or bruiser, and outputting crazy damage as an assassin. The support role hasn't always been avoided. It has definitely changed in popularity over the years, as the prevailing meta has shifted. Double support was the meta for a long time around 2017, and was despised by a large portion of the player base, claiming it was too strong. We'll come on to if it was in just a second. So, why did double support work? Well, this consisted normally of a high heal output hero like Oriel, Alexstrasza or Lucio, with one with great utility like Uther or Rhaegar. This comp wasn't unbeatable though. High burst assassins were a strong counter, but pokey comps with consistent damage output really struggled. The result was games with fewer deaths, which I agree is less enjoyable, but if we look at the flip side of this, it has been absolutely acceptable for a double mage comp for years and has never caused an issue. Supports were subsequently nerfed in late 2017, receiving reduced healing, damage and health, plus their laning potential was significantly reduced as to force a supporting role. So the community got what they wanted, but the result was a significant reduction in the number of people willing to play support. So how about now? Well, the meta for a decent chunk of time has been the following team comp: one healer, one tank, one ranged assassin, one offlaner, normally a bruiser, and one flex, which is normally a second assassin, but it could be either a support or healer. In Storm League, it is therefore still really common to play healer, albeit begrudgingly in most instances. Quick Match is a completely different story. Aside from Anduin, who is the 9th most picked, and Brightwing at 20, the remaining healers and supports are well into the low 30s, 40s and 50th least picked. Okay, so what is the current state of the healer/support role then? Are they just simply underpowered since the nerfs in 2017? This really depends on the current skill level of who you ask. Lili is an excellent example. In bronze rank, Lili is an unstoppable force, mainly because there is a general lack of focus, allowing her to keep her team topped up. At higher skill levels, her inability to choose heal targets is a massive hindrance and prevents her from reacting effectively in 99% of situations. Many heroes have this skill-based issue. The other challenge is that lower ranks will focus on talents that increase raw healing output, which on the ending screen will pad out your stats, but detracts from the true effectiveness of a support role. Talents like Cleanse are incredibly effective at higher ranks. It can quickly prevent a teammate from getting focused down and subsequently preventing a team wipe. But this doesn't affect that all-important stat page, so why would I pick it, right? So, my honest opinion, I think most supports are actually in a good spot. Some are definitely better than others. Anduin, for example, has been an excellent all-round pick for a long time. Others can be very strong depending on the enemy team comp, so if you draft well, you are in a winning position. Or if, like most people, you play quick match and get a favourable matchup, again, it's tough to beat. While others will be strong depending on the level you play. To summarise then, the healer/support class has definitely seen its fair share of play over the years, but as a result of key historical decisions by Blizzard, they have lost favour among a large proportion of the player base. Most solo queues will avoid playing support because they are incredibly difficult to carry a team. Although depending on the game mode you choose, the rate at which they get picked will alter drastically thanks to the prevailing meta. They are generally in a good state. Some heroes are simply better than others, while some can be strong based on team comp or skill level. But let me know in the comments, what do you think of the support role? Is it something you avoid, or what would you do to address this challenge?